During the pandemic, governments worldwide used digital payments to provide immediate economic relief to their citizens impacted by COVID-19. At least 155 programs in 58 countries used digital platforms to provide this economic relief to their people. This reflects a growing trend towards digital payments worldwide. Digital payments have been essential to governments in the pandemic because they're faster, more secure, and easier than cash transactions. Government-to-people payments, G2P, can be used for everything from paying wages to distributing welfare checks to helping people open their first bank account. When COVID-19 hit, countries that already had a strong digital ecosystem to support G2P payments were able to help vulnerable populations quickly and effectively.
A country like India, most of the people have bank accounts, access to a digital identification we call Aadhaar, and most people now own a mobile phone. So India had systems that were set up for this. So the government of India could go on stream pretty quickly.
But countries that were less prepared could not reach the people who needed assistance most.
A country like Togo, where there was no system before. It is a country of 8 million people. There was no social protection system, so to speak. You start from scratch, without any data, without any information base, and then you use digital technologies like geospatial mapping, mobile call data records, and open accounts for people using their electoral ID. So they set up within a month a system where they could transfer about $12 the mobile phones through mobile wallets. And that is remarkable.
But 2 years into the pandemic, many countries are still not ready to respond to the next crisis.
I think, first of all, that governments made a heroic effort once they saw the severity of the pandemic and the fact that they would need to shut the economy down and help people. They made heroic efforts at getting payments out. Unfortunately, they didn't do a very good job of planning. In most countries, there are certain industries that are required to have emergency plans in place with a series of well-rehearsed steps should something go wrong. The same thing should be happening in the finance industry when it comes to the need to get payments out to all of the eligible citizens and residents of an area.
Addressing the flaws in digital ecosystems begins with increasing financial and digital literacy in populations and staff, and depends on ensuring easy access to IDs, the internet, and communication about these programs. Removing obstacles like poor customer service and high transaction fees will also be essential to making sure people can get the help they need. Finally, by maintaining up-to-date social registries and allowing recipients to choose delivery methods that work for their lifestyles, governments can improve the access and impact of their social assistance programs.
Governments generally relied on social protection roles, welfare databases, et cetera, to identify who are we going to get payments out to. But there are a lot of people who aren't on those roles. The working poor, folks who are not getting any kind of welfare, they have a low-paying job, they lose that job, they're in as much need as anyone else, but they're not on any rolls. A lot of those government databases were completely out of date, or they had contradictory information that rendered people ineligible, even though the information was wrong. And government hotlines, which again were put in after the fact, as time went on, usually had no ability to fix incorrect information. The payments were generally put in place with a very top-down mindset. The finance ministry would transfer the money to the central bank, and then they would transfer them to banks. And that sounds good, except that a lot of people, especially in the developing world, don't have bank accounts. So national ID needs to be broadened. Infrastructure in general, there needs to be far more attention paid to making sure that power and telecommunications, especially voice and data, are available all over the country, and not simply relying on the private market to do this. So there needs to be more planning on how to make sure this can be easily done.
Digital payments have become essential during the pandemic, and they are here to stay. But for countries around the world to have a faster and more effective response to the next crisis, the time is now to invest and strengthen the ecosystems that make digital payments such a force for social good.